I'd like to tell you a story about my friend Karen. So her daughter recently came to visit and she spent the whole weekend on her phone. And then the next day, Karen told us her daughter had walked in her favourite jeans, except they'd been ruined. So Karen asked what had happened and her daughter said she'd bleached them because of something she'd seen on TikTok. Because I saw it on TikTok is a story that we keep on seeing. Just look at the skincare brand CeraVe. In March 2020, their market value increased by hundreds of millions of dollars. In the background, a group of beauty influencers had started recommending the brand on TikTok. So TikTok isn't just dance videos. Just check out hashtag Saturday mornings where people share their morning routines. Hashtag WitchTok where digital witches have created an online tribe. Hashtag migraine where sufferers share health tips, or the recently piloted TikTok resume feature for people to apply for jobs. So TikTok is really powerful. Brands without a TikTok strategy are missing out on its power to influence their target audience. Researchers not analyzing TikTok data are missing out on an opportunity to find out what really matters to people and how they engage with it. So, why aren't more people doing research with TikTok data? There are a couple of barriers. The first is that it is an emerging platform still. So the age range of the user base is expanding by the day, but a lot of the time, the people that know TikTok best aren't the people that are setting research agendas. So there's a real knowledge gap in our industry. The second reason is that there's no meaningful API right now. So listening providers only really let you view hashtag and music trends. There's no access to rich historical data, which means it's hard to meaningfully analyze what's happening. So insights at the moment do tend towards the light touch and the shallow. So, over the last few months, we've been working on an industry first research process for TikTok. We wanted to create an approach that can be adapted or replicated across projects, one with meaningful and deep qualitative insight, but also rigorous and robust quantitative insight too. To trial our approach, we've picked the topic of immune health. It's an interesting area. It's been growing over the last year, and it really reflects a shift in attitudes to health, so moving from reactive to proactive approaches. It's also interesting because of a range of audiences offering advice on TikToks, for scope for consumers to be influenced in a lot of different ways. So, how do you access data on TikTok? The API issues do mean it's not that easy, especially if you want to analyze individual posts in a meaningful way. This means that you've got to get manual and into the platform itself. The desktop version of the app is still fairly limited, so for this, you're going to need a smartphone. What about ethics? Is it okay to research these posts without people's knowledge? The data is in the public domain, so arguably yes, but people still might not be expecting a post to be looked at by researchers. So we went a step further and we only looked at posts that had been shared using a hashtag, because people deliberately use hashtags to put their post in front of as large a public audience as possible. So I'll now talk you through our TikTok research approach. Like any project, you will first need to define your research question and check for feasibility. So are people actually talking about your topic on TikTok? You can't filter by location, so you'll need to decide which languages you want to look at and decide your sample size. So we use 300 posts to give us an overview of key themes and audiences for our topic. Then it's time to immerse yourself in the topic. So first find key hashtags by searching for keywords. Follow these hashtags, see where they lead you, size them up to help you decide which ones to focus on. For immune health, there's a real drop off in views after the top 10 hashtags, so we focused on those. Then start watching with TikToks. Make a note of the key signals you're picking up. So think in 3D, not just the topic of the post, but who, where, what else can you see and hear? Think about what content is irrelevant but you want to exclude, and then use these signals to build a code frame which you can use to systematically make sense of the rest of the data. Once you've coded your data, start to make sense of it. Look for patterns, which codes are used most frequently. Use this to start to build a story and identify areas for further qualitative analysis. Then you can go back to certain videos and build out your thinking around what's really going on and why. And when it comes to reporting, think about how you can build stories out of the glimpses into people's lives that TikTok gives you, and how brands might be able to become part of that conversation in a meaningful way. You might also want to think about triangulating your analysis with Google search data, other social data, or primary research. So our report will be coming out later this year, but using this approach, we were able to find out things like there's a real focus on natural ingredients and holistic health. There's loads of audiences talking about immune health, including doctors, chefs, fitness, wellness influencers, parents, students, vegans. But this means that people are being exposed to a large amount of medical advice that might not actually be correct and at worst could be harmful. Which leads me into some other areas that we do still need to get a handle on, like misinformation. Really important, particularly in healthcare and social research. But are we qualified to detect misinformation? Should we be reporting it when we see it? In our project, we flagged in our data every time someone shared medical advice but wasn't from a medical background, and those numbers were huge. And the project also made us think about the ambiguities in this sort of data. Can we objectively say what someone's intention is when posting on TikTok? Or can we consistently say what the tone of voice of a video is? You'll need to really clearly define these measures before starting and make sure that coders are communicating to get a consistent view. It's also important to consider ethics. So how do we adapt our codes to a new type of data? Can we share videos of someone of our client or stakeholders without their consent? What if millions of people have already seen that video? I don't have the answers. It is a complex new world. So it's still very much a new and developing area of research, but TikTok is a unique source of data. It's got huge potential for helping us to understand people better. And just like Karen's daughter with her bleached genes, it can be hugely influential on real world behaviors. As a research industry, we do really need to start taking TikTok seriously.